The public, by and large, does not understand what affordable housing means in Arlington.
Okay.
For example, a lot of people equate affordable housing with public housing, meaning that you have buildings that are physically owned and run by a jurisdiction. Arlington has no public housing. What we try to do as a community is provide affordable housing, which are units that the county subsidizes. We call them committed affordable units, or CAFs, and they are kept affordable for a period of time, and now, as I understand, upwards of about 30 years because of the level of subsidy. We also hope that there's a mass of people who can get affordable housing on their own because these units are said to be market rate affordable. In other words, they are affordable to people making between 60 and 80% of the area median income. These tend to be older apartment buildings that are not in great shape. These are not the luxury ones with the stainless steel appliances. And there are about, I think it's about 18,000 units that are considered market rate affordable in Arlington right now. But a lot of those units are disappearing because areas are being redeveloped, and they're being redeveloped high end. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge to keep units affordable to people not making the area median income, which you probably know is very high. We have one of the highest median incomes in the country. It's roughly about $103,000 in Arlington. That's median. And there are a lot of people in Arlington who can't afford the high-end apartment buildings. But there's a big mass of people who can't, and those are the people who are really struggling, and those are the people that my organization, the Alliance for Housing Solutions, is trying to help. We do things in a variety of ways. One, we do public education. We have an annual forum, a public policy forum, where we try to educate advocates really and public officials about the newest things in affordable housing and what kind of tools we can develop to provide more affordable housing. We also find that we have to do public education on a project-by-project basis. When John was in here talking about the gates, when that was going in, AHS was involved in trying to educate the surrounding community about what that project was about and why it's important that Arlington provide affordable housing. We have a website, and we try to post information on our website, which we are in the process of redoing to make it more robust, to make it more of a one-stop shop for people who want to know about affordable housing in Arlington. So public education is a big part of our mandate. We're a 501c3. It's really the major component of what we do. We also do what we call facilitation. When a deal is being developed, we try to work at times, if we're asked, with county officials, with the developer, and with the surrounding neighbors, to kind of troubleshoot. We are not a provider. We do not make money off of housing. So we can step in and kind of try to broker a deal, which is probably too dramatic of a way of describing it, but try to bring people to the table, talk through what some of the issues are, suggest to the housing provider, maybe you could take it down a floor. Tell the community if they take it down 3 floors, they can't put the affordable housing unit part in, and so on. So we do that. We also try to develop advocacy around housing budget issues and advocate that the county put in more money towards affordable housing, because unfortunately there's a very clear bottom line in this community, and that's that because of the cost of housing overall, which is driven by the private market, it takes a very strong county subsidy to provide affordable housing. And there's no getting away from, there's a financial bottom line. And we are trying to do the best we can to ensure that the county has a decent sum of money to help subsidize these units. We had the 8th annual Lucky Forum back in October, and it was specifically targeted at looking at how to increase local revenues for affordable housing. And I think the highlight of there were 2 highlights in my opinion. The first was AHS commissioned a survey report that was done by the International County City Management Association. It was actually done under the direction of Ron Carlee, the old county manager in Arlington. And they surveyed a group of communities that were as close as we could get to being similar to Arlington. There's no, one-for-one comparison. And looked at their practices with regard to affordable housing. How did they raise money? How did they use money? To try to develop a case study for future reference for AHS, for policymakers and other advocates. How can we get more money for affordable housing? Because as I said, more money is really the bottom line. So that was a highlight. And the other highlight was a presentation by a woman named Adrienne Quinn, who's with Enterprise Community Partners in Washington, D.C. But a few years ago, she was out in Seattle and was one of the chief architects of a very successful public education and public vote to increase affordable housing revenues locally, where citizens effectively taxed themselves to provide more affordable housing. And she gave a pretty fabulous presentation, but explained really the hard work of a true public campaign to raise awareness and raise support for affordable housing. We also work with the faith communities in Arlington. We consider them a very integral partner to providing affordable housing. And we do a lot of work with the Arlington Interfaith Council. Right. We do have, and we had our award ceremony this past Saturday night, the Ellen Bosman Affordable Housing Advocate Award, named after, of course, the fabulous Ellen Bosman. Now, this year we recognize Father Jerry Creedon, who's the former pastor of St. Charles and well known to any advocate in this community. He's recently been reassigned to Prince William County, but we had a great night of celebration honoring Ellen's legacy and Jerry's work. So we are trying to work with other groups in the community. We are an organization that lists 35 sponsors on our letterhead. These are faith communities, civic associations, and providers who are working with us in our advocacy efforts and frankly provide financial support as well. So we work with them and we work with other advocates in the community when we can, and right now we're trying to honcho an effort that's leading up to the budget cycle for 2012.